Have you ever wondered what happened after Pablo Escobar died? Not the afterlife, but the real aftermath. What happened to the people closest to him, the power he built, and the fortune that fueled his empire? Today we'll take you deep into Medellín, Colombia, to uncover the aftermath of Escobar's death, from shattered properties to fleeing family members. The final hours, December 2nd, 1993. On December 2nd, 1993, Pablo Escobar was on the run. Half of Colombia was chasing him: government forces, rival cartels, Los Pepes, and even some of his own former allies. He had been hiding ever since the Colombian government announced plans to move him to a standard prison. But Escobar refused, stubborn and egotistical as ever, believing he could still outsmart everyone watching his every move. That day on his birthday, he made a risky decision. He wanted to speak to his family and placed a call to his son. Authorities intercepted the call and traced it to a nearby cell tower. Within minutes, military convoys surrounded his hideout. Escobar tried escaping through the roof, but it was too late, and shooting started. In the final moments, Pablo Escobar was killed on a rooftop alongside his most trusted bodyguard, El Limón. This marked the end of the Medellín Cartel's reign of terror, though the chaos it caused would ripple for decades. Pause for a second and imagine living in a city where the most powerful criminal could be hiding anywhere. How would that make you feel? Family in hiding. Maria Victoria Henao. After Pablo Escobar's death, his family faced constant danger. His wife, Maria Victoria Henao, and their two children, Manuela and Juan Pablo, quickly realized that staying in Colombia was out of the question. Enemies and rival cartels still roamed freely, and any connection to the Escobar name was a target. Desperate for safety, Maria sought refuge abroad, but their options were limited. Mozambique denied her request for asylum, Brazil refused, and Germany turned them away as well. One by one, countries rejected the family, leaving them with few options. Eventually, Argentina offered a temporary solution, allowing them to enter on a tourist visa. To further protect her and children, Maria took drastic steps. She changed her identity, adopting the name Maria Isabel Santos Caballero. Under this new identity, the family lived quietly, trying to blend into everyday life. For several years, they experienced a rare sense of normalcy, free from the constant fear that had defined their lives in Colombia. However, their past could not stay hidden forever. In 1999, Argentine authorities discovered the family's true identities. By 2000, Maria and Juan Pablo faced legal consequences when they were arrested for money laundering. Despite the serious charges, investigators found no evidence linking them directly to Escobar's criminal empire. Still, the arrests marked the end of their relative peace, a reminder that the shadow of Escobar's legacy could follow them across borders. They were released, and Maria lived quietly for the next 2 decades before releasing her memoir, Mrs. Escobar, My Life with Pablo, reflecting on the fear and isolation she endured. Imagine living every day in constant fear of recognition, hiding from the world because of the legacy of your husband's crimes, never knowing when that past might resurface. The life of Pablo's son, Sebastián Marroquín. Living under the shadow of his father's notorious legacy proved impossible for Juan Pablo. Every mention of his real name carried the weight of fear and public scrutiny. To carve out a life, he legally changed his name to Sebastián Marroquín. The new identity gave him a chance to step away from the constant association with Pablo Escobar and try to live with some appearance of normalcy. Determined to confront his past rather than run from it, Sebastián began writing. He poured his experiences and reflections into a book, Pablo Escobar Mi Padre, about his father, offering a perspective that went beyond headlines and sensationalism. He revealed intimate moments, showing Escobar not just as a feared drug lord, but also as a father capable of love and tenderness. Despite changing his identity, danger continued to follow him. Sebastián survived multiple kidnapping attempts in Argentina, which occurred after Forbes published reports claiming that Escobar had left behind billions of dollars. Most of this wealth, however, remained hidden in Colombia, out of reach. Sebastián Marroquín has been outspoken about how popular media portrays his father. When the Netflix series Narcos gained worldwide attention, he publicly condemned it, arguing that it painted a distorted picture of Pablo Escobar. According to Sebastián, the show focused too much on the drama and excitement of Escobar's life, glossing over the immense suffering and destruction his actions caused. He emphasized that thousands of people lost their lives, families were torn apart, and communities were terrorized under his father's reign. Pablo Escobar's wealth and properties. Pablo Escobar's billions were almost impossible to trace or move. At the peak of his reign, he controlled 80% of the cocaine entering the United States, generating tens of billions annually. Banks could not hold his cash without attracting attention. Escobar hid his wealth in secret places, inside furniture, in walls, and buried underground around Medellín and surrounding regions. Some reports suggest $2 billion in cash remained hidden, much of it never recovered. His properties, symbols of his wealth and power, quickly fell into ruin. The Monaco building, a 6-story mansion in Medellín where Escobar lived with his family, became a target for rival cartels. After being blown up, the Colombian government took possession and converted it into a tourist attraction. While visitors were fascinated, locals saw it as a constant reminder of thousands of victims killed during Escobar's reign. In 2018, the building was demolished and replaced with a memorial for his victims, transforming a place of terror into one of remembrance. The crown jewel of Escobar's holdings was La Catedral, the luxurious prison he built for himself in 1989. More palace than prison, it included a casino, spa, football field, and luxury suites, showcasing his control over crime and politics. After his death, La Catedral became a scavenger's haven, with millions of dollars in valuables stashed inside. Eventually, it was abandoned until Benedictine monks transformed it into a monastery and memorial, honoring the victims of Escobar's terror and reclaiming a place once defined by crime and excess. Cartel collapse and legacy. After the death of Pablo Escobar and the flight of Maria Victoria Henao with their children, the Medellín Cartel quickly began to unravel. The organization, once feared worldwide for its brutality and efficiency, lacked a central figure to coordinate operations. Many of its top lieutenants were either captured or killed in the months following Escobar's death, leaving the remaining members vulnerable. Some turned to rival groups, most notably the Cali Cartel, which seized control of cocaine trafficking routes to the United States and Europe. By the late 1990s, the Medellín Cartel, which had dominated Colombia's drug trade for over a decade, was effectively dismantled. Despite the cartel's collapse, Escobar's shadow lingered. Not all of his fortune disappeared. Much of his wealth was looted, lost, or abandoned, but some properties, schools, hospitals, and community projects he built continued to serve Medellín. Escobar had invested in housing projects, football fields, and public infrastructure, often in poor neighborhoods, creating a paradoxical reputation. To some locals, he was a Robin Hood figure, providing resources and opportunities where the government had failed. To others, he remained a terrorist and murderer responsible for the deaths of over 4,000 people, including police officers, politicians, and innocent civilians caught in the crossfire of his empire. This duality, humanitarian to some, tyrant to others, left a complicated legacy in Colombia. Escobar's actions reshaped the social and political fabric of the country. His life demonstrated the extreme consequences of concentrated criminal power, immense wealth and influence built on fear and violence. Cities like Medellín still bear scars, from memorials honoring victims to neighborhoods influenced by the infrastructure he funded. Today, his story serves as a cautionary tale. The Medellín Cartel's rise and fall illustrate how crime, wealth, and violence can intertwine to leave a lasting impact on a nation's history. While Escobar may be gone, the consequences of his empire are embedded in Colombia's culture, economy, collective memory, institutions, neighborhoods, justice system, and public trust. If you want to uncover more stories behind the world's most notorious cartels, like this video, share it, and subscribe for more deep dives into cartel history. Stay tuned for untold stories, shocking truths, and real events that shaped the world